Idle time. It is the time during which the worker is not engaged in the production but paid even during such time. So, what is idle time? Total time as per the timekeeping records less productive time as per the time booking records. In our earlier question also we discussed that there are two things, one is timekeeping and another is the time booking, and both these exercise will enable you to calculate the what is the idle time. Idle time is the difference between the total time minus productive time is called as idle time. In other words, what is it? It is a time during which worker is not engaged in the production process, but still he is paid for such time. Then the causes for idle time is what? Normal causes and abnormal causes. First thing is time taken by the workers to reach the production department from the main gate of the factory. If you go to some factories, you will see main gate and the factory, the distance is about 2 kilometers. People need to walk from the main gate to the factory. So, naturally the moment they enter at the factory gate, the time will be recorded. By the time they reach the factory, it will be at least 10-15 minutes. That and all is a normal idle time. Then time lost between finish of one job and starting the next job, because human beings cannot work like machines. Naturally between one job to the another job there will be some relaxation time, that is also a normal idle time. What is normal, friends? Normal is something which is inherent to any process, you call it as a normal. Whether you are doing the business or somebody else is doing the business, what is inherent to that you call it as a normal is the point. Similarly, time spent to meet the workers' personal needs like taking a lunch, tea, this also comes under the normal idle time. Time required to set up machinery, receipt of materials, initial processing of the materials, all these also comes under the normal causes for the idle time. See, just like that you cannot come and start the machine, it requires some time to set up that particular machine. Similarly, you have to make initial processing of material till such time the worker and the machine are also what you call remaining idle, that is also a normal cause for the idle time. What are the abnormal causes? Machine getting breakdown, power failure, equipment non-availability, and then non-availability of the raw materials and tools, and waiting time for the jobs due to defective planning. Management is not properly planning the work, then due to defective planning also sometimes workers need to be kept idle. If that is the case, all that comes under the abnormal cause is the point. Now the next question is, how is idle time cost is treated in the cost accounts? See, just like any other loss, here also loss due to idle time, you are trying to classify the same into two categories. Category number 1 is normal and category 2 is abnormal. Normal idle time cost you should not separately calculate, it is going to inflate the cost of the good jobs. Whereas abnormal idle time, the cost you should separately calculate and should charge out the same to the cost P&L. This is a simple way of looking at. But your abnormal idle time, try to understand various reasons could be there. Based on that slightly the treatment could differ. What it is, just look at. Normal idle time first, it refers to the idle time inherent in every work situation. It is estimated in advance. It is unavoidable and cannot be eliminated totally. Then abnormal idle time, it refers to the idle time over and above the normal idle time. That is called as an abnormal idle time. That is actual idle time is more than the normal idle time, you call it as an abnormal idle time. Of course, abnormal idle time is something which is avoidable. It can be further classified into controllable and non-controllable situations. Normal you cannot control because it is inherent to the nature of that particular process. Then cost of normal idle time is treated as a regular part of the cost of production, and it is treated either as a direct wages or as a works overhead. You do not need to calculate separately, either you put it in the what you call direct wages or the production overheads, because direct wages, when once the idle time is with reference to the direct workers, indirect workers, if you are paying the idle time, then it comes under the production overheads is the point. And then cost of the abnormal time constitutes a loss which should be debited to the cost P&L account, and in case if it is a controllable, the responsibility should be fixed on the person who is making a default. So what can happen is either you can charge it off against the cost P&L account, or else you can fix up the responsibility on some person, then you can recover the same from that particular person. But we are living in country called as India, where labor unionism is a very strong, so it is impossible to recover the things from the workers. So in our country we can safely say that it should be charged off against the cost P&L account only. Then as far as normal idle time is concerned, in the long run normal idle time may be reduced through improved technologies, methods and procedures. Yes, see, in earlier days how the construction used to happen, let us suppose a 20 floor building need to be constructed. They used to keep the temporary stairs, and people used to stand from the top to the down, and the material used to go from this side to that side, from down to the top, and meantime some workers, because of the age, because of the normal fatigue and all, used to slow down the work. With that also normal idle time it used to be. But now we have developed a mechanism whereby the mixed material can be lifted with the temporary lifts that are now being used. So it is not that we cannot control the normal time, but a lot of technology improvement and methodology improvement could only reduce the normal idle time. Whereas with respect to the abnormal idle time, what we are saying is, what is controllable should be eliminated through proper managerial action. If the management is a dynamic and is not going to work haphazardly and work systematically and never allow the workers to waste the time for the sake of for the want of materials or the lack of instructions, then you can to a greater extent can reduce the abnormal idle time is the point. So to sum up with idle time and the cost accounting treatment, normal idle time cost will be included in the direct wages or the production overheads. Abnormal idle time will be debited to the cost P&L account. If you can fix up the responsibility, you can recover the same from the employee. Then we move to the what is overtime work, why does it arises. See, what is overtime? In case if the worker is working more than the time which normally he has to work, that is called as a overtime. See, we have got so many workers acts or labor acts which will try to protect the workers' interest and all. One such act is the Factories Act. So according to the Factory Act, what is it? Worker is eligible for overtime pay if he works for more than 9 hours a day or more than 48 hours a week. So work done beyond the normal working hours is called as a overtime work is the point. And under the Factories Act, what is stated? Any person, in case if he is working for more than 9 hours, he should be paid overtime, and more than 48 hours in a week, he should be paid the overtime. Then significance. Overtime, if worked occasionally, indicates that firm is operating at its optimum capacity. It is considered as a healthy indicator. Persistent overtime may signify the following. So now and then, if you are working overtime, means you are working at the utmost optimum capacity. But if overtime is a regular feature, you should sit on to it and see to that what are the reasons you have to analyze. So if it is a persistent overtime, naturally what will happen? You have to first understand that overtime happens because of the understaffing, where 4 workers work is there, you employed only 2 workers. Naturally, the 2 workers has to make a overtime work. So labor understaffing of the labor force employed is that is labor force employed is less than those required for meeting the production schedule, then that could be one reason for the overtime. Second, limited production facilities. I have got 3 employees, but only 2 computers are there. One has to keep himself idle. Only when these people leave, he has to take up that. In that situations where we have the limited production facilities also, we have to work in 2 shifts. So once one person is coming for the second shift in odd hours, you have to pay him overtime. Then labor inefficiency. Because of labor inefficiency also, what will happen? Work will get delayed. Once work gets delayed, you have to what you call employ the people on a overtime basis. So these are all the possible reasons, and the significance part of it we discussed. And now we move to the causes for overtime. Overtime arises due to what? See, I want to employ required number of staff, but there is an utmost shortage of the laborer. Even if when I want to employ the people, there are no people to work. So genuine labor shortage, which leads to the firm being understaffed. See, let me tell you, with all these BPOs coming, all the commerce graduates going to these BPOs, except for this and the last financial year, prior to that, for 5 years in the chartered accountant firms, even when chartered accountants want to employ the people, there are no persons who are readily coming and working with us. And even if somebody comes to us, he works with us only for 1 year to get used to the work environment and to learn basic skills, and he used to left. For 5 years we have served the nation by training the people. Right. Partners in national building. See, chartered accountants, ICA says what? We are the partners in the national building process. So point here is like genuine labor shortage also could lead to the firm being understaffed. No entity feel like working with understaffing and paying the overtime. But even if I want to employ the people, there should be people with the requisite qualification and the skill. Once that is in shortage, naturally you have to go for the overtime only. Then pressures of immediate and urgent delivery by the customer. Yes, sometimes you may need to do the overtime to meet with the the customer's demand. That is, my factory need to get closed by 8 o'clock, but at 7:30 somebody comes and say that tomorrow there is a function, so we want these things, so please do it and I will pay extra for it. Then you have to again say please to the what you call to your workers, and you have to pay more, and they will work till 3 o'clock in the morning, and the next day they will not come, and still they will take the salary, because it is you who requested them to do like that. So, over time, although the customer, because of his urgency, says that you please get it done, I will pay more, the implication of it will be there on our other jobs also, because a person who worked till 3 o'clock in the morning, even if he comes tomorrow morning, can you expect the same efficiency with which he works? Natural that he cannot work. After all, he is a human being. So, these are all the implications of employing the people on an overtime, and then making up shortfall in the production targets. See, production manager is not properly planning the things, then production schedules are getting delayed. Then with all that pressure, we also employ the people on overtime to meet the production targets is the point. And of course, sometimes uncontrollable factors will be there. Suddenly strike is there for 3 days, all the 3 days production got stopped. So, naturally you are to meet the production targets, you have to employ the people on overtime basis. Increase in the production targets than what is budgeted to meet the rise in the market demand. Suddenly market demand for our product got increased, because of that also we have to produce more, because of that also we could employ the people on a overtime basis. These are all the causes for the overtime. Then overtime means increased cost. What are the ways in which overtime leads to the increased cost? Straight point is, once you employ the overtime, you have to pay 1.5 times of what you are paying in a normal time. So, that is a straight implication on the cost. But apart from that straight implication on the cost, there are many indirect implications on the cost. So, first is the premium. Payment for overtime work generally is a double the normal rate. I only said 1.5, but the PowerPoint says it is that you have to pay the double time than the normal rate. This extra payment is called as a overtime premium and is an addition to the total labor cost. Then reduced output. Naturally, in the night or in the overtime, the productivity will be less than the productivity in the normal hours. So, with such a reduction in the productivity also, labor cost will get increased is the point. Thus, overtime leads to the increased cost and increase in the total cost and reduction in the total output, thereby leading to the increase in the cost per unit is the point. Then how is the overtime premium is treated in the cost accounting? How to account for overtime premium in the cost accounting, friends? First thing is, depending upon the reason the treatment is coming. If overtime is due to genuine labor shortage, try to understand once labor shortage is there in that industry, whether you are employing the people on overtime or your competitor is employing the people on overtime, you both have to make the what you call payment towards the overtime. So, very well you can treat it as a part of the direct labor costs by inflating the normal wage rates. OT at the customer request if you are doing, then you charge this particular overtime payment to the job itself. OT worked irregularly to meet the production requirements due to unexpected developments, then treat it as a part of the factory overheads. Then OT, if it is worked due to fault of a particular department, you charge this particular overtime cost to that particular department, and you fix up the responsibility and you see to that recurrence will not happen. Then OT, if it is due to abnormal reasons like a strike and all, then you better charge off the same to the cost P&L, because maybe in your concern there is a strike, your competitor could create conducive environment, there is no strike. Then if you put this particular cost as a part of the production cost, what will happen? Cost of your product will be more based on that. If you fix up the profit, then your selling price will be more than your competitor selling price. So, your product will lose its marketability. That makes us to say always Abnormal loss should never become part of the cost of the product. It should always be charged off only against the cost P&L accounts. Then what are the measures for controlling the overtime cost? How do you control the overtime costs? First thing is make a proper supervision. Proper supervision, what will happen? So that work done during the normal hours should be monitored carefully. This will ensure that there is no spillover from normal to the overtime when the output can be achieved in the regular time itself. See, supervision is most important thing in any situation. Friends, as a future managers, try to understand, nobody comes to us with any bad intention. Our own style of functioning itself make others to get into the bad intentions most of the time. My 12 to 15 years of experience with the different concerns and in our own concerns also, what I personally feel is failing happens due to lack of supervision. Never tell to any human being that you are so great, you don't require any supervision, you will automatically work. I know very well that you are such a human being. Please, like that, never tell, because you are going to cry at a later date if you commit such kind of mistake here. Business and emotion will never go together. You want to do business, do the business with the objective way, not to with a subjective kind of situation. See, it is a natural thing that any human being want to have a supervision over him, because if somebody is observing means I also try to prove myself and show, because one of the natural instinct of the human being is what? He want to always show to the other that he is most effective. If nobody observes that particular person, on the pretext that that person automatically will meet the targets, initially he may be doing, but over a period of time he feels that when nobody is bothered about me, let me also take a chance. See, not only workers, friends, try to understand in any relationship, supervision is most important. You cannot also say tomorrow to your child also that you are great, automatically you will do, because that is the problem in the present situation. Both mother and father don't get the time to spend with the child, and to cover up their mistake they will always try to praise the child, and the child in that process is getting spoiled. So even child getting spoiled means we have made lot of effort to spoil him by lack of supervision. All this what for I am saying is, you should keep in your mind permanently one aspect throughout your life, that when you don't have the time to supervise the work of others, don't employ others and don't cry for their non-performance, because how can you expect your machine can work without supervision? Probably, but a human being will never work without supervision. This is the fundamental concept. So the point here is, proper supervision is most important. Work done during the normal hours should be monitored carefully. This will ensure that there is no spillover from normal to the overtime. The output can be achieved in regular time itself. Sanction, this is most important. See, sanction, permission, these words have got different meaning in India, because I will tell you a small example. Somebody is standing at the gate and asking, sir, can I come? Then mine saying, yes, you come. This is permission. That fellow comes up to this level and asks, can I come? This is what? And moreover he says, I came inside only by asking you, na sir. What is it? After doing asking, is it sanction? That is the reason why many times when some persons come to me and say something to me in a tone as if they are asking for my opinion, first thing that I always ask other human being, is it that you require my opinion or is it that you are intimating what you want to do? You should also practice this concept, because never we should waste the time. Most of the time waste happens in the human being life what? In listening others. This is the most important advice to the younger generation now. Lot of time that they are spending on listening others' problems, for which they will never be able to provide solutions. Because if you give a ear, the other person will always cry. There is no end for cry. If you want to enjoy your life, try to understand, don't allow others to cry before you. Because this crying is such an item that these people will go on doing it and unnecessarily our productive time will go away. So most important thing in any human being relationship also, whether other person is intimating to us or coming for our permission. There is a lot of difference and the line of demarcation is very thin. That is, these people will come to us and the purpose of coming is only to intimate to us what they want to do, but they will stand as if they came for our permission. So don't get confused. So most important thing is overtime. See, overtime work, before employing the people do you need to take the sanction, or after employing the people and after making the payment will you take the approval of the top management? What should happen first? What should happen first is, first to take the approval of the top management to employ the people on overtime basis, then you employ the people on overtime basis, so that your management also will be knowing in advance itself why you are employing the overtime. Then they may take a loan and increase the production facilities, or they may what you call address the understaffing and all. But many a time overtime happens because of failure on the part of the middle level management, not communicating properly the reasons for overtime to the top management. So here the point is, the overtime work should have the prior sanction of the competent authority. The reasons justifying the overtime should be specified and considered acceptable. And then efficiency comparison, ये तो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. कुछ बदमाश लोग रहता, कैसा, उन्होंने नॉर्मल टाइम में हर एक घंटे को 5 आर्टिकल्स प्रोड्यूस करते. जब तुम ओवर टाइम दिए तो इन द नाइट ही विल डू 9 आर्टिकल्स. Normally what should happen? Productivity during the normal time should be more, in the overtime it should be less. But इन लोगों क्या करते, सुबह आके सो के शाम में काम शुरू करते. तो that is what in English what it is, efficiency comparison. Overtime efficiency should be compared with the regular time efficiency. In case overtime efficiency is very low, it may not be worthwhile to work overtime. At the same time, if it is very high also, that means that fellow slept throughout the morning and tried to increase the overtime and all. Then periodical reporting. Report on overtime work, output achieved, efficiency, reasons for the overtime work should be sent at periodically to the top management for its review and action. And restriction on overtime, ये भी और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है. सुपरवाइजर्स रहता, उन्होंने क्या करते, उनका आदमी को रेगुलरली ही विल गिव द ओवर टाइम, बिकॉज He want to see that his related parties and relatives, friends should get the overtime and should get more wages. Then what will happen? In the organization, whoever is not getting the overtime, then they will feel bad because they also want to increase their salaries, but the supervisor is not allowing them to get the overtime. So you should also keep a track whether all the people are given equal chance to work overtime and increase their wages. Of course, again I am saying why supervisors will behave like that is all people will not work for the money. Some people just like that work because they have to do the work. उतना ही पैसे उनका मोटिवेटिंग फैक्टर नहीं है. उन लोगों को बुला के ओवर टाइम देते बोले तो भी वो नहीं लेते. तो जब सुपरवाइजर क्या करना, उनका रिलेटेड पार्टी रिलेटिव से ही खुद ही कराना. बट व्हेन यू आर वांट टू रन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन मोर प्रोफेशनल वे एंड ऑल, see, try to understand with human beings the biggest problem is always they try to throw a failure on the others. It's a natural, it's not, I am not an exception, you are not an exception. With the labor what will happen? That fellow, even if you call, he will not come to the overtime. But when issue comes, he says, वो सुपरवाइजर अच्छा नहीं है, उन्होंने सब उनको पहचान वाले को दे रहे ओवरटाइम, हमको नहीं दे रहे. कल से देते आते तो नहीं साहब, भाई साहब मेरे लिए नहीं बता रहे, सब लोगों के लिए बात कर रहे. मैं क्या है सब लोगों के लिए तुम बात करने, तुम्हारे बात क्या है बताओ, कल से तुम करते ओवर टाइम. दिस इज ऑल मोर डायनामिक देन व्हाट यू आर स्टडीइंग इन द क्लासरूम. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. हियर बहुत सारी लिख सकते आप, वहां जाके करने से मालूम होता. तो sometimes an upper limit may be fixed for overtime for each category of the worker, maximum 15 hours of overtime per month per worker, and you distribute the overtime for all. I'll tell you a small example, let me tell you, because you can also feel it. The people will come to us for doing the articles. They say that, sir, we want to learn everything what a chartered accountant can do. Okay. Papers got signed and he started coming. Now we will say, a good exposure I will give, you have to travel for 9 hours and stay there for 15 days a month. No, no sir, my family will not permit me to do that. क्या है? तुम क्या बता क्या है यहाँ पे? Okay. Understanding his family situation, I have employed him in a nearby situation where he is doing the accounting work only. After 6 months, this comrade, what he will say, what I have learned with you, sir, only accounting work. I have not got the exposure. What is this? When I want to give you the exposure and I want to go to the outstation, you to go to outstation audit, you will say, forget about the outstation audit. There is a work in the Gandipet. No, इतना दूर कैसे जाते सर? I will get this pain, that pain, my health is not well. This. Then how you get the exposure, brother? See, exposure comes only by your own feeling for the exposure. Try to understand. Back to the point. So, with the workers or with the staff, always these issues are there. So, restriction on overtime. Burden should be equally be spread. Other way around, the people who cannot take the burden only will be starting criticizing us, saying that we are partial to somebody. Why we should take such? Give opportunity to overtime for all the people equally. Then if somebody says that, no, I cannot work, then you please ask him to write, so that at a later time he cannot tell that he has not got the opportunity to do that. Then revised standards for job performance. See, standards are to be fixed and actuals are to be taken, and you should compare the actuals with the standards and try to find out the deviations and make the corrective actions. Corrective action, friends, all times not necessarily to be done with the worker. Sometimes if there is a wrong what you call time setting process, wrong standard setting process also, then standards need to be revised. So, if a minority only are failing, then worker requires education. If majority people are failing, then standard requires a revision is the point. So, sometimes the time allowed for completion of a job may be set without any specification as to normal time and overtime. For example, in software development, if the project duration is set for 12 weeks, the exact hours of the work, night or day, need not be specified upon, as long as the work is completed within the total time which is allowed is the point. Then this is the last issue, labor turnover. Of course, issue has got 4 or 5 questions. Labor turnover. What is labor turnover? Labor turnover is the rate of change in the labor force during the specific period measured against a suitable index. So, labor turnover is number of employees replaced divided by average number of employees on roll. Or second way of doing it is what? Number of employees separated during the year divided by average number of workers or employees on rolls, or a combination of these two, number of employees replaced plus number of employees separated divided by average number of employees on roll during the period. What are the causes for the labor turnover? The main causes for the labor turnover in an organization, we are classifying broadly into how many categories? 3 categories: personal causes, avoidable causes, non-avoidable causes, like that. What are the personal causes? Why people will leave us? When they have got better opportunities, then they will leave us. So, for a change in the job for betterment, people will leave, that is their personal reason. Then ill health or the old age. Because of the old age and ill health also, people will leave us. Domestic problems and responsibilities, also people will leave the job, because one person is working very well, I want to depute him to the new branch which I started, but that fellow will say what? No, with the domestic responsibilities which I have to take care of my old father and mother, so I cannot go from this place to that place. Naturally, once we say you please go, if that fellow don't go, normally that friction starts, and that friction ends with what? Either you showing a door or he searching for an alternative. That is the reason why you should be double careful while you talk to the people. First, you understand what is the status of him. Instead of saying that you please go, otherwise try to see that you find some other person for that. Because this person is doing very well, he is happy, we are happy, why unnecessarily troubling? But many a times what will happen, management is different, and what you call HR people or the middle level managers are different. Management will make a lot of effort to identify good people and bring, and HR people who actually need to do that job will spoil the environment. Sometimes it is happening like that. See, let us suppose I am starting an entity, पहचान वाले को ही हम ला लेते, मगर क्या होता, ये पहचान वाले को जिनको हम लाए उन्होंने जरा सेंसिटिव पीपल है, तो उनको कौन हैंडल करना? हम खुद ही हैंडल करना। नहीं, तुम HR डिपार्टमेंट लगा के वो HR डिपार्टमेंट को सर्टेन जनरल गाइडलाइंस देके तुम सब को कंट्रोल करो बोले तो then that there is always a chance of what you call friction. So, identifying the reasons for the labor turnover is a very challenging task. More particularly, people need to be given conducive environments, working conditions. These are all most important. So, domestic problems and responsibilities, कुछ लोगों को है तो respect that, if possible, entertain that. Because most important thing you have to remember is your relationship with which human being is always a better thing? A person who has got responsibilities. A person who has got responsibility only can take the responsibility even at the office also. A person who don't have the responsibilities at the house is always a misfit even in the organization, according to me. Try to understand, responsibility is something which cannot be purchased, which should be felt. So once the family makes the child to behave responsibly, naturally he will have the habit of taking responsibilities and delivering those responsibilities. So don't be under an impression that if somebody has got domestic responsibility, that fellow is a misfit into our organization. He is fit. We only have to see that how we can fit him into this organizational structure. But if you go on crying that that fellow has got domestic responsibilities, then 3 times, 4 times he will listen and then will quit. We are losing a good hand. So here the point is simple. Whenever there is a change in the job location and all, few people will leave our concern because they cannot leave their domestic responsibilities. Discontentment over the jobs and working environment. This is also another important thing. See, whenever you want to have some good motivation levels with the people, talk less to the people. Don't unnecessarily talk all waste with the people. See, tell them what you want, tell them how they should do, leave it. ऑटोमेटिकली चलता रहता, वैसा नहीं आज एक प्रोग्राम दिए कल उसको चेंज करें, दूसरे दिन again you bring them to the same level. See, human being also has got emotions, commotions, expectations. ये सब में जब clash आएगा, naturally that and all leads to the bad working conditions. See, hierarchy levels are to be established. Who has to report to whom? Who is responsible to whom? Whose accountability is what? वो सब बिना फिक्स करके लोगों को ला लिए तो वर्किंग कंडीशंस बैड हो जाता. So point is, discontentment over the jobs and working environment also makes the people to leave our concern. Then remedial measures are what? Create conditions leading to the healthy environment. So how to avoid the labor turnover based on personal reasons? What we are saying is these are all personal causes. Only way that you can do is create conditions leading to the healthy working environment. We are not saying that you have to plead the people, but try to see that you first saturate your organization with proper reporting things. Create working conditions. Then what are the unavoidable causes? Seasonal nature of the employment. Because of that also, during the season only we will employ the people, and during the unseasons you will ask them to leave. Again next time when the season comes, new faces will come. Then change in the plant location also could make some people to leave. Shortage of the raw material or power or lack of market for the product. I have got good production facilities, good people, but the product don't have the demand, then it forces me to take away some people. Then disability, that is while doing the work some accident happened, because of that he becomes unfit to the work and he is indisciplined and we are taking away him on account of disciplinary measures. Marriage generally in case of women, but this is something which is acceptable 15 years back, that after marriage women are leaving to their spouse. But today I know a number of cases where boys are leaving the places to join their female counterparts. Yes, today where is the question of girl leaving the job and coming with the boy, right? And here writing generally in case of the woman is not acceptable for me, but in the book it is like that. So these are all unavoidable causes. So seasonal nature of the employment, change in the plant location, shortage of raw material, power, lack of market for the product, disability, and disciplinary measure and marriage generally in case of the woman. These are the unavoidable causes because of which labor turnover is there. What are the avoidable causes? Strained relationship with the management, supervisors and fellow workers. See, relationship, once you go to the office, how many relationships are there? With your boss, with your subordinate, with the person who is equal to your rank. All these relationships should be go smoothly, but once the strain is happening in those relationships, then naturally you feel like leaving the concern. See, sometimes once somebody comes and say that we are not going to come from tomorrow, it will be very surprising for us, because till yesterday he is good with everybody. Why suddenly he came and is saying that he want to leave? Never I told anything to you. No, sir, it is not that I have got a problem with you, but I am still leaving. That means what? This fellow has quarreled either with the subordinate or with the person who is working along with him. Because of that strained relationship also he may be leaving. Not that always people have got the problem with the management only. That is the reason why they are leaving is also not the point. That is the reason why always I say in my own organizations to the people that don't be too emotionally attached with the people in the office, because that leads to lot of confusion. Because anything that happens to the other person, this person also is getting affected. So that's the reason why I never allow groups to form in the organization, because I am not against people coming together. But if that coming together happens too much, what will happen? Personal issues will come, and once something happens between their relation, both of them will leave our concern. So it's a dynamic exercise of how to retain our workforce. So strained relationship with the management, supervision and fellow workers, lack of training facilities and promotional avenues. So if you cannot make the others to feel that there is a chance for promotion and all, also people may leave. Lack of recreation and medical facilities, low wages and allowances, these are all the avoidable causes. Remedial measures are proper and timely management action can reduce the labor turnover appreciably so far as avoidable causes are concerned. So you have to take timely action. See, relaxation should never be there with the management. जाने दो, वो हमारे ऊपर आने के बाद हम सोच के करेंगे, वैसा थोड़ी आदत नहीं होना. जब भी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करते रहना, then only good organizations will get developed. Then effects of the labor turnover, higher labor turnover increases the cost of production, and it because of the reason that it disturbs the even flow of production. Efficiency of the new worker is low, productivity of the new but experienced worker is also low at the beginning. There is an increased cost of training and induction. New worker causes the increased breakage, wastages of material. All these points we have deliberated enough. Remedial measures to minimize the labor turnover. How to make minimization of the labor turnover? Exit interview. You might have heard about entry interview, but we are suggesting you about the exit interview. When somebody want to leave, we don't say that by exit interview, we don't mean that you call him into the cabin, you fell down on his feet, you touch his hands and plead him, please don't go. That is not the purpose of exit interview. See, generally if you ask anybody how I am as a boss, they will say what? Yes, you are good. Why they will displease me by saying that you are bad? But at the time when they are leaving, they will not have any problem in saying how I am bad. Because see, first thing is, as a human being, I know pretty well what the mistake that I am doing in any relationship. Then still why I will ask? Still why I will ask the others, what made you to leave the organization? Because some angles which I could not perceive, they may say that this is the personality defect or this is the organizational defect because of which we are leaving. Then you listen to them. Always you should have an attitude of taking the criticism to your stride and try to improve upon yourself. That is the whole lot of purpose of exit interview. And then job analysis and evaluation, already we have discussed. With a proper job analysis and evaluation, if you are able to identify requirement of the job and employ the people, then also yes, you can avoid this labor turnover is the point. Scientific system of recruitment should be there. Service rules should be framed properly. You should introduce the procedures for setting the workers' grievances, settling the what you call workers' grievance. There should always be workers' grievance cell with management and workers' representatives, so that problems can be sorted out at the earliest is the point. With this, I will take the balance in the next session. Thank you.